Today on Call the Midwife After Show, we start off with some pneumoconiosis. We follow that up with a bout of lumbago with just a hint of anthrax. And to finish it all off, we have Val lancing boils on Grand's flashing pins. All that and more in just a minute.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
All right, welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us for another Call the Midwife After Show. It's series season 8, episode 6. I'm John Comerford, joined in the studio by Tamara Berg.
Hi, everybody.
And Courtney Stewart.
Hello, hello.
All right, so yes, we have a lot of maladies in this particular one.
Yeah, boils.
Yes, boils, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I said something besides pneumoconiosis, but I don't know what I said at the beginning, but that's what it is. But
That's what you meant, though.
Yeah, that's exactly what I meant, yes. But I did get the lumbago right, because that's kind of starts everything off. We have Phyllis having another bout dancing with the lumbago, so to speak, and losing. And as soon as that happens, of course, who do we call? We got to have somebody come in to fill, and who could step into Phyllis's shoes?
Mildred.
And,
Who knew?
Yeah. Okay.
Who knew?
No, I wasn't sure, to be honest. I mean, obviously we knew that she was going to come back because of who they hired to play her, but I didn't know it was going to be her. And we I guess, did they show it in last week's Coming Up?
They did.
They did, okay.
Or at least it was in the news. I think they showed
Yeah, somebody posted an article or something,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
That's what we knew.
Good old Miriam was coming back.
And I was wondering, sure, that's a great person to fill her shoes. When it happened, I was going, how would Phyllis and Mildred get along? I would have wanted to see those two go head to head.
I don't think
Sorry.
No,
that
not
would
going
be
to
some
see that.
serious dissonance.
Although, okay, so they said Phyllis is going to be out for up to 6 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Pity the doctor who had to tell her that.
Yep.
Right.
Now, the thing is that she's not going to be working for 6 weeks, but not necessarily going to be in the hospital for 6 weeks.
Yeah.
So it may be that she's back at the house, Nonnatus
that'd be
House,
fun.
Yeah.
in future episodes, and she and Mother Mildred may
Get to interact. That'll be fun.
cross paths.
I didn't think about that. I like
Yeah.
that.
When she's out of traction.
Yeah.
Yeah, that looked like
She's
fun,
like-
didn't it?
Yeah.
Nah.
Oh my.
I tried that. Just
Did
to
you?
see if I could get taller. Didn't work.
No, it didn't.
Sorry.
No, it did not.
All right, so
But
that's why
Phyllis
she's
in
in
pain.
town.
That
and
was
she, of
sad.
course, decides that she needs to learn. She wants to come back here to learn all she
Yes.
can about what Poplar's been like since she's left.
Yep.
And when she was deciding who she was going to send, I should go to that first. What was it that she needed somebody who was?
Which of you splendid ladies will accompany me? I will require an expert for maturity and glamour. as ballast.
Ballast. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, was she talking about the ballast for maturity or her ballast for her not being glamorous?
her not being
Her not being
glamorous.
glamorous.
Yes.
So,
You
yeah.
both.
I would say that. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
I like how
you're not-
nobody wanted to volunteer on that one. Who's going to
Not
show
at
me around?
all. Everybody's looking.
There was a lot of eye rolling.
How quick Sister Francis was.
Yes.
No, I'm too young.
No, too inexperienced.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Can't do it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, not happening.
Nobody wanted that job.
Yes.
So.
She needed experience and glamour.
And it falls to Trixie, and of course, I also thought the way they revealed her. She's in the background. We see Fred, fixing a bike or whatever. He's pumping the tire.
Yeah.
I don't
Oh,
know
yeah.
what he's doing. And then he hears the voice, and the look on his face when he hears the voice. He doesn't even turn around to see who it is. He just, oh no.
Bit of a slow burn.
Mildred.
Yeah,
That was exactly.
Is that what you were
Great
thinking?
reference.
Yeah. So, all right. And of course, she's not going to ride the bike. Not only does she need glamour ballast, she doesn't have legs long enough to ride the bike. So
She has the curse of the short of limbs.
short of limbs.
I can relate.
Myself as well. Which is why, the
Yeah.
intraction didn't
You're not in
work.
the
On
club,
bikes,
Courtney.
No.
So he's
I have
stuck
a
with.
curse of long
Yeah.
limbs.
And I'm going, I was thinking, if she's going on the rounds with Trixie, why isn't
Why aren't
Trixie
they
in the van?
car together? Thank you. What is going on?
There's room in the
a-
back of the van,
it's a
even for her
van.
bicycle.
They had a bunch
Yes.
of kids in there and a donkey or something, remember? I mean, doesn't
Yeah,
she,
that was a bit of a logic problem
doesn't
for
she
me.
rate as she could have put the bike in the back.
I mean, it was comical, but
Yeah,
I
it
was
was
like, what?
it was a
That
little
didn't
fun,
make
but it
any
did
sense.
seem a little odd.
Yeah,
That
was
was
very,
weird.
Yeah.
very rude.
Yeah, but we did because of it. We had a nice little montage
Trixie
with her,
following.
her riding around, tooling around, trying to catch up, and then cutting back to Phyllis in the hospital trying to eat.
Oh yeah, and dropping tomatoes
Dropping
on
the
her
sandwich
on her
on the side.
chest.
Yeah,
She was
yeah.
strung up.
Absolutely.
String me up.
All right.
Yep.
So this is where we meet the Brittles, and this was the stevedores, the family of the dock workers. And granddad, is already
Yes.
on his deathbed, and that's the
Yeah.
pneumoconiosis, among other things that they dealt with working on the docks. We find out that he's on, I guess, what do we call it?
We call it hospice now. Is that what you
Yeah.
mean?
So hospice
Yeah.
care, yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say last look. No, that's not right. So
Lord, John.
he's on death watch. So.
It's not funny.
No,
but
no.
it is funny.
It's gallows
They
humor.
call it gallows humor.
That's why they call it
Yeah.
gallows humor. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and we've got Dad and Mom,
Barney.
and
Barney.
I didn't get Mom's name. Did anybody get
didn't
Mom's
get
name?
Mom's
So
name.
it's
Gilda.
Mrs.
It was
Is that
Gilda.
Thank you. And we got Ed, the eldest, and John, the youngest son, and they're all in the same business, and they're all
Stevedores.
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 And we've kind of seen the plight of the stevedore in one or two episodes before,
Yeah.
but certainly they
Little
took it
bit.
on this time. And we even talked about they went on strike 2
The
years
work
ago.
conditions.
Yeah,
Yeah.
in 1964. And the work
we
conditions.
thought we'd made some progress there,
Yeah,
he said.
but
Yeah.
no, not at all.
And the progress was that little tiny little mask. That didn't
Yeah,
do
that,
anything.
yeah.
Oh my
I-
really?
I thought that was great that
Yeah.
because I'm going. I bet you they actually have that. You know,
Yeah.
they got that from something. I
would-
wanted to include it in the show.
I was wondering how accurate around that was because it was that they knew already so much
Okay.
was a problem that they didn't have any solutions at this point.
If you'll
Kinda
remember,
shocking.
we talked, I think it was last season, about the, the staff on the show being so militant about details
Yeah.
Yes.
that there was broccoli on the table at Nonnatus House, and that was not historically accurate. So they went back and color corrected it and made it cauliflower. So let me tell you, that
go
mask is accurate. I'm 100% sure of that
Even if
because
it
Heidi
isn't,
Thomas
it's a
is so
great
certain
repro.
about that.
It was a great repro.
Well, I mean, yeah, I don't know that it was an actual one, but
Yeah.
but yeah,
Kudos to
a
the
little
prop
bit of like a cut up Coke can with some like pillow batting across
what
it.
Here.
gauze. Like, what is this?
Don't they rate
Wow.
those things? You would know that they rate those masks.
well,
as
it's
far
not a
as, like,
HEPA
what they-
filter. Let's put it that way.
Yeah,
Yeah,
not a HEPA
true.
filter.
So-
Goodness. Wow.
So Barney has a nasty sore.
yeah.
It was definitely nasty. Makeup, y'all doing
Yeah,
your thing
exactly.
with the
They had the
nasty
props. And,
Makeup
yeah,
was
because,
on it this
Yes.
week.
Yeah, because they had the anthrax, they had the boil, and I was like,
Yes.
oh my god,
Yep,
yeah.
you guys are doing your
And,
job
and
well.
it really was cringeworthy television.
It
wasn't
was.
It was
For
like,
sure.
oh, I can't watch that. I can't
It was.
Yeah.
It was.
And I liked how Gilda was making sure that he checked in with the yeah. He's like rolling his eyes. Yeah.
Come on, go doctor. So yeah, and Trixie looks
Right.
at it, treats it, says it's infected.
Yeah.
You should really go to the doctor because he's going to want to give you some antibiotics. Goes to Dr. Turner, and Dr. Turner says, "I don't know, might be anthrax."
Yeah.
like,
What? What?
Yeah. That was to jump from that. Yeah.
Oh.
First of all, I don't even know what anthrax looks like, but that was like, well, I was not expecting it. I only knew of it because of the coming up.
Right.
yeah.
Right. Yeah, and
But before we get into that, we have to talk about what
Mother
Mildred
Mildred
did.
said.
Yeah.
'Cause
Right.
right before they go to Dr.
Calling
Turner.
her
Yes.
apartment a slum.
Right. I've seen this in the
Rude.
slums of Kowloon.
Rude.
And Gilda says, tell her not to come back.
This is my home. This is not a slum.
I thought it was interesting that Mildred just, there are people like this, had no idea that what she said was offensive. Like, no clue. I'm just saying I've seen it in Kowloon where there are slums. I'm not saying this is, just like, but no clue that she was comparing Gilda's home to a slum in Kowloon.
And I was on her side. I didn't think she was. No.
Rude. You were on her side,
Well, just
John.
that. Yes, because
What?
I was. What are you jumping all over? She didn't say you. This was a slum like Kowloon. I've seen anthrax
Well,
in
she
Kowloon.
said prior to saying I've seen
Oh, right.
anthrax in Kowloon, she said this looks environmental.
Yes.
And then she followed that by saying it's a slum. I saw them in the slums. So if it's environmental and you've seen it in the slums, you are saying that this is an environmental
But
slum.
I never
And John,
assumed
you're
it.
just insensitive.
I never assumed it was the home life. I went right to it's work.
and it's quite
So
clear
why would that reflect badly on her?
because as a woman of this time, I'm sure that she took great pride in the fact that she needed to maintain a clean home and a neat home and
Yeah,
all
I'm
of those
agreeing.
things, and to even bring up the fact and knowing Poplar's history
Right.
of being slightly
Slummish.
tenement-esque. I'm sure she might be a little bit, more sensitive to such comments.
Tenement-esque down. That's a good one. Tenement-esque. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, man.
All right. I just thought she was talking about work. That's it. So I was like, what are you getting all up in the arms about? So, all right, whatever. So you guys are saying that I'm insensitive. Got it.
No, I said it.
Thank
Courtney
you.
didn't say it. I said
I'm
it.
co-signing.
I'm tenement-esque.
You're
So,
tenement-esque.
all right. So
So Barney gets hospitalized
Yeah.
because he does indeed have anthrax
yeah,
and
for
looks
test, yeah.
really terrible.
Yeah. Poor guy.
yeah.
Yeah.
That was a great scene with he and his wife, though. Gilman.
Oh, yeah.
That
That's when he was
that
like,
was a
you're
great.
my only love.
Yeah.
You've been the love of my life. I want you to know that. I have all the my little teardrop
So
marks
sweet.
here.
Yeah.
She's like, no,
It's not going to end this way.
not having that.
No,
I'm not.
No, I love you too. Real love did exist somewhere. It's well done. Well done, actors.
It was.
Yeah,
Well, and I thought also because clearly she's got someone dying at home.
Yeah.
right.
So this is like, no, that's enough. We've got enough of that. And they make the case later too when the son. We'll talk about it when the son decides he wants to try to do something. She's just got. Where does she go to try to save any of them? But what?
Yeah, feeling very helpless.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. What can they can't do anything because they've already had a strike that
That
gave
didn't
them
do
a piece of
anything.
mesh that did nothing. So what
Right.
can you do? And what else, how are you going to make a living?
Right.
So,
Sure.
Right.
the hopelessness of it all.
So then the docks get shut down because there's anthrax.
They're looking for the source.
I know. And how did they not know where the anthrax was? Like, if you're running the docks, maybe you don't tell the workers because you don't want to upset anybody.
Yes,
But
exactly.
don't you, as the owner, like, yo, the anthrax boxes, make sure they're on that side of the dock. Like, don't you have some
You guys
clue?
go over there, clear that. They may, but then they're not gonna admit it. They're gonna say, "Oh yeah, we don't know
of
where
course.
it is.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
I guess we're gonna have to
that's
search
true.
for that."
They're gonna look around.
yeah, exactly. You guys go look around. So
Oh, jeez.
yeah.
Humanity.
I can only
Epic
imagine
fail.
exactly how horrible it must have been to work on the
Yeah.
docks. And I mean, I'm sure it wasn't that much better in the
I was like,
longshoremen
this
here.
is
in the-
TV. This is probably
Yeah.
like the lighter
Yeah, exactly.
version of it. In
Yeah.
reality, was
Exactly.
oh gosh, people are terrible.
So next we have Mildred apologizing to Mrs. Brittle.
Yes. Oh, but I liked the scene with Trixie confronting her.
Oh, thank you. Yes.
Confronting
Yes.
Mildred
Yeah. She's
in that little-
resistant.
That's
She's
right.
resistant to it. I didn't.
Yeah.
Did you have some of the quotes
About that part? Where,
about what Mildred said about Trixie in
Oh,
her
yeah.
eyes accusing? I didn't write that down.
No, she was just saying that you
the
guys talk, but I
crisis
try to
of
find it.
conscience. You've created a fence basically, and
you've given you've created grave spiritual inconvenience.
says Mildred in
Says Mildred.
response.
Grave
Yeah.
spiritual inconvenience.
And I thought, first of all, don't shoot the messenger.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And you're inconvenienced.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
But you know what? I love that they did that. Because
Oh, yeah, it's great.
so many times when people offend other people, they want to make it about themselves. And
Yes.
it's like, no.
Yes.
It doesn't matter if you don't think you should have.
Yeah.
It should have been taken offensively. You offended them.
Yeah.
Apologize and shut up. So that was a nice little character.
It was. I'm glad they had the little
Moment for them.
moment there to butt heads.
Yep.
And because Mildred is a very strong-willed person, and
Yeah.
she doesn't. I think she's clueless about the effect she has on people,
Yeah.
and clearly she didn't with Fred. She doesn't with Gilda. I mean,
How did she become so entitled as a nun?
because she wears her spiritual armor that she doesn't see them. Her intentions are honorable. That's why.
Yeah, I think she thinks she's just having been a person who's offended people a lot in my life. I can relate to this and say, I think she probably is just, she's just going about her business. She's doing her thing. She's on her path. And maybe her feelings aren't hurt as easily as other people's. And so as she's going through it, she just doesn't have consideration for other people's feelings because she herself, this is not the case of me, but she herself is just like, whatever. I just got to get through and do my thing.
Why you offended? at
You
that?
know? Yeah, exactly. In that conversation she had with Trixie.
So she's
So-
cold-blooded. That's what we're saying.
All right. Okay.
No. I say I'm with her on all of this. I think she's fine. You guys.
But yeah, I mean, regardless of being a nun,
Yeah.
I think she's just, she's just on her thing, and she's making her way, and just not realizing the
Yeah.
sort of flotsam she leaves behind her.
Great way. That's a great way.
Because we're on the
Great
docks.
word.
Thank you, Tim.
Yes, you're welcome.
Yeah.
That was good.
You're welcome.
So, but she does finally apologize, so we do get that.
Yes,
she
she
does. Kind
does.
of humble herself a little bit, and in that moment they have, and we even see Gilda saying, "Okay, it seems legit, and,
All right.
honest." But then immediately we get right back into the story because she's trying to help with the clothes, and then we realize
Yes.
it's a much bigger deal.
Don't touch that.
Don't touch it. I'm boiling the anthrax out of their clothes.
And I was thinking, it was left to the people in the tenement-esque
How
to boil
terrible.
exactly, to boil
How
anthrax
terrible.
out. So I mean, of course, because if the government is going to do anything, you are, and even Mildred says we can't leave it to miracles.
You can't. And it's so shocking because
Yeah.
they knew it'd be different. Like if this was like turn of the century, like the jungle,
Yeah, yeah,
when
yeah,
all of
exactly.
this is like starting to get figured out, industrialization. But they knew
Oh yeah, they didn't
that
care.
they didn't care.
Because they had the workers, and it's like, there are more workers as they come from.
Still,
Yeah.
it's so
It is a little bit shocking.
unnerving.
Yeah.
So we do get that nice moment. Go ahead, Tim.
So Mildred starts to see
Yeah.
the
plight.
conditions and the plight of the dock workers and their families, and all of this that's going on, and says, wait a second, it's appalling
Yeah, don't you
that the
know?
employers don't
Yeah.
provide coveralls or any kind of protection.
Yeah.
Talks to the dock owner, and he's like, very fancy man in his fancy suit.
But here's the thing: you
Yeah.
got to give her the same blinders that she has on when it comes to offending other people that
Yeah.
she may have on is the same chutzpah that it takes for her to just confront this
true.
guy, and boom. So there is a good side to
Right.
that.
Yes,
Yeah.
of course.
And that's her intention. That's
Yeah.
where she comes from.
Yeah, yeah. So I thought that was nice.
She's trying to uphold the moral law.
Exactly.
Which is fair.
Oh, did you come with him? Is that what the doc boss says? I don't know. What
Yeah,
Yeah,
something like that.
Oh,
This
and then
guy.
I just loved her line. Oh, should I have?
Should I have spoken to him?
Exactly.
Let's have a chat.
And we just go, okay, here comes an alliance.
Yeah.
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 Because I mean, that's a pretty formidable. You want somebody like her on your side.
For sure.
Yeah. So,
Always.
yeah, exactly.
But it was also depressing that he's about to retire and all he got was that little janky mask.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he could frame it and hang it. That's a little object of art. I mean, that.
The mask.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Frame it as he dies of
exactly.
pneumococa, whatever it was.
Pneumoconiosis, I think.
Pneumoconiosis.
Yeah, there it is.
Pneumoconiosis, yeah.
With a P.
But you got your frame mask.
That's it.
Yeah, all right.
So Ed decides he wants to stand up for shop steward. Mildred encourages him.
Yeah.
And we find out that Barney is actually going to recover
Yeah.
from the anthrax. Gets the
Goodness.
antibiotics,
Got
thank
it in
goodness.
time.
Apparently Cipro existed back
Whatever,
then.
sure.
And yeah.
And the beauty is he does make it to the
the last few moments.
bedside before Dad passes. So we do get that. This is where I was like, okay, I can't.
It was hard. That was
very
hard.
Yeah,
And when he touched his dad's hand and the squeeze
Yeah,
from the
right.
dad.
Nope.
And
Nope.
Yeah,
Not,
because
no.
it was just very. I just
like-
flashed back to when my dad was passing. It was the same.
It's
thing.
tough.
Yeah, so it was,
it's tough.
it was a gut wrenching one for me.
Yes, and the boys all crying
Yeah.
too, and it was generational, and he wants to like do something better,
Yeah.
and mom, like all of those emotions are wrapped up in that one moment, and watching the grandfather pass away was tough.
And also to think that that's your future.
That is exactly
Yeah, that's
you're
what
watching your
yeah,
future,
exactly.
and it's jeez, capitalism.
Yeah, it was just it was so it was incredibly painful, an incredibly painful death scene that they went over a couple breaks, like he was dying and then they went away to another story and came back, and so when I was trying to fast forward through it, watching, I got a little tricked into watching some of it again a second time. no, but I thought it was a really beautiful death scene.
It was.
In the tenderness that was in the room, and also just really honoring the emotions and what happens during that scenario with the the last breaths and the holding of hands, and he can still hear you and all of that. And it's again one of the things that I love about how this show is.
And it was also really nice that Mildred was the one that said that hearing is the that's the good.
And when she started the prayer,
yeah.
Oh,
Courtney.
what are you trying to do to me?
Yes.
Watching this show? It
Yes.
was too much.
Yes.
It was, yeah. And I don't know sound effects or actor voice, but that wheezing of the voice and the way he was able to pass, it was almost too real to be on the show.
Yeah.
It was rough.
That one was, yeah.
that was
and-
hard. That was hard.
And just as touching for me was when Ed was talking to his mother about you wanting to be shop steward or stevedore steward, whatever the vocation name was. I thought that was great, because he was saying that he wants to. She says, "I just want my son to be safe." And he goes, "I want everyone's sons to be safe, and maybe even my own." And all that. I thought that was a great scene. To me, it was just a bookend to the hospital scene.
And also saying, I won't do it if you don't want me to.
Yeah.
Because there is some responsibility and some potential sort of liability for it, in the sense of he's going to become, his time is going to be taken up, and his vision, and not literal vision, but he's going to have to work to make things happen. But I just want to make it safer for everybody. Yeah.
Stupid, right?
Yeah, stupid.
When all they needed were mask and coverall.
That's all.
That's all
That's all
they
they needed.
That's all we need.
On a basic level. But all right.
Oh my God.
Oh, that was a heavy one.
All right, so since we're talking about her, let's continue with Mildred. I know, but we'll do that next.
Okay.
Because we'll finish the Mildred thing.
Mildred.
Yeah, because
Mildred,
she's clearly she's already upset something. She's already upset.
Yes.
She's done the Fred thing, and she's taking advantage of Fred as she's taking advantage of others.
Yes.
And all I care about is that they had the powwow with Vi.
That was the best
Oh.
Violet moment I've felt.
Violet, Sister Julian, and Sister Mildred.
She had that hat on.
Preferably in your office.
The clash of the titans over here.
And I love that Sister Julian just was sort of like, oh, the whole time.
Mom's gonna get schooled. So
It was so great. It was so great.
it was great. But Vi was great. She held it all
Oh,
together,
yeah.
right? She was very specific with
Right.
her
Oh, yeah.
concerns and her requests.
They were
Right.
like, we'll
And-
pay
and-
for the petrol.
yeah,
She was
exactly.
like, but what about his time?
Right.
What's
because that
what's
was-
right is right.
Yes.
That was where it was starting to get irritating to me, was that Mildred had the expectation that Fred would just be at her beck and call. He's literally brushing his teeth in his robe
Right.
Yeah.
when she shows up at his door at an ungodly hour, saying, "I'm ready."
And again, I think,
Yeah.
in her mind, it's just that we're here to do God's work. So,
Yeah.
of course, everybody's
like, it's
going to.
time. I'm up. I'm
Exactly.
ready. Let's get going.
Exactly.
But it's like,
They're not waiting. These people need help.
Yeah. Right.
So you should be ready to go. Never realizing they have a life of their own, and they didn't choose this avocation.
And she never asked.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. She had the
You
expectation.
have no respect for their time.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
honoring and respecting all these other people that need you.
But
Yeah.
that scene was in Julian's office was just great.
I loved it. It was so great.
And
And,
then
the
you-
handshake at the end.
yeah, exactly.
And then as Vi leaves the office,
Yeah,
no telling him I came around.
yeah. That's right.
He
would
He'd
be
mortified.
And we also have Jillian apologizing, like
Yeah.
oh my God. But I again, to her credit, she says, "No, I came here to learn. I'm learning every day."
Right.
She's
Yes.
sticking in her
She's
craw like
sticking her-
crazy.
yeah.
But yeah, she came here to learn. So I love that. I thought that part was great. I
Much
thought that-
appreciated.
that's right.
And the elation when Fred got his check.
Yep.
He was like,
He got
this
his
wasn't for, this
Yeah,
is an
that's right.
accident.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Not at all.
But again, him too saying, "Hey, you give me too much."
Yeah.
Sister Julian. No.
That was for you.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So
Loved it.
before we move on.
Yes, and we love that. Like, we love you guys, and we want to continue to love you guys. And in order to do that, we need your help. So you guys are watching us right now. Please make sure you click that subscribe button under our video. It's a red button that says subscribe. Make sure you check us out on YouTube. Not YouTube. You're on YouTube. Check us out on iTunes as well. Download the podcast, subscribe to the podcast, comment, give us a rating. We love the 5 stars, but if it's not 5, give us 3, 4, and let us know why. Continue the conversation in the comments every time we do a show, because we do engage with you guys, and we love engaging with you guys and want to hear what you have to say about the show and what's coming up. And we want to thank you, all you fans and all you lovers of Call the Midwife and of AfterBuzz TV as a unit, because of you guys, you have made us the ESPN of TV talk, and we love to continue to do this, and your help and your love has made us able to continue to do that. So thank you.
Indeed. We are, anybody watching us live on YouTube, we do have the chat open, so if you want to let us know anything
yes.
live, you
And
can.
Chime in, guys, anytime.
At the end of this, we'll follow up with some of the things that we talked about last week and what's transpired and how BBC got in a little bit of hot water. We'll talk about that.
Yep.
So tune into that as well. But for right now, we're going to go on to Elaine Pilkington.
Pilkington.
We've discovered her. She just comes into the surgery.
Yeah.
With a very, very strong corset.
It's a foundational garment.
Foundation. This is a very strong foundation garment. Yes, it is, girl.
I know it happens all the time.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
holy smokes.
But I can't even breathe in Spanx. Like, how are you pregnant
Hello.
and you strapping it down that tight?
Yep.
Like, I can't imagine. But
I
she
can't even breathe.
really
in
wanted a
Spanx.
baby.
Yes, I'm writing that one down.
Yeah,
too.
I can't even breathe. I
so.
just, yeah.
So,
But-
and we learned she's 17.
Yeah.
The family, there's no one to contact.
Nope.
There's no man. In there. Yeah, and there's no one there. So.
And she also seems to be okay with the fact
Yeah.
that there is no man
Yeah,
or no one to
yeah.
talk
She doesn't
to.
seem to, and she for someone so young, she seems like, oh, so that means I'm going to deliver soon. So she, because
Yeah.
we learn later that this isn't her first
This is
child.
baby number 2.
And she's 17 now, so apparently at 15 or whatever.
15, yeah.
15. And Lucille figures out, because obviously she, being down at the business end, she
She saw that episiotomy scar.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
So she knew that this was not her first. And then we also learned that the parents are not into this. And the fact that they took her baby, where they created, they just flat out lied to her, say, we need to get the baby to a doctor. And the parents apparently didn't take it to the doctor. They took it to some agency where they gave the kid up for adoption.
They took him away from me, and I didn't even get to say goodbye.
Yeah. And I was just like, and there are other times when we've dealt with this on the show and everything, but I was not thinking this, and I went, oh man, those mothers.
Do you do that to your own kid?
Well, yeah, and to me, this was like the doc boss.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like the inhumanity of that.
Yeah.
And from their perspective, again, they're going, look, we taught her right. She knows wrong. This is, and we have. What was it? I think the wife said, the mom said, she said,
We have a respectable
we have a
business.
respectable
that part?
business, and we can't be explaining this to people, and what would they think? And I'm just going,
Fine, I get it, but
yeah.
the
Yeah,
way you did that proved that you knew what you were doing was not okay.
Yeah.
Because you lied about it.
Yeah.
Right.
So if you thought it was fine, you would have let her know you're giving the baby away.
Yeah.
Right.
This is what's happening.
Right.
But
You have
you
to create a
knew.
scenario. Of the whole thing.
Yeah, that's torture.
But
Why?
she knew better. She knew that they were going to try and take advantage of her again, or
Take the baby
deceive her,
away.
deceive her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting that she said she really wanted this child. See, the
Yeah,
other guy,
I thought it was
don't
a
even-
little weird
but-
and maybe psychologically unstable.
well, yeah, because I agree with you, but
Yeah.
I thought it was an interesting choice to make
Yeah.
because clearly she didn't want the first one taken away. And so
No.
it's like the only thing she's been thinking about is that shouldn't have happened, and I
So
want.
she's trying to
I want
replace it,
Exactly.
but with
Yeah.
a random dude.
Yeah.
Right.
But it's 1964 now.
Yep.
So clearly the child was more important than the how the child came to be. So,
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And she was hell bent on keeping this one. So
Yeah,
she made-
Dr. Turner says, trust me, Elaine is determined to keep this baby. Dad says, well, that's not going to happen. Think again, Dad. Yeah, and so we learn that she says, Sarah wasn't an accident. Like,
Yeah.
I did not, this was my plan.
Yeah.
And
Planned Parenthood.
and from the
Yeah.
beginning, Lucille says, you need to have a plan in place. You need to, this can't be some sort of fantasy, like a doll.
Yeah, but
But she had thought through it.
Yeah, because I know
Yeah.
Courtney, you mentioned that some psychological stuff going on, but she clearly realized it was going to be hard, and she even says, "Look, it can't be harder than what I've already been through."
And I've been thinking about it for 9
Yeah,
months.
so I mean, and I agree. Sure, I'm sure there are better ways to do it, but and there probably is some repercussions and some ramifications of that.
But when I never remember her name, the crotchety old secretary in the doctor's office,
Higgins.
Miss Higgins, when she made the comment that she had two choices of
Right.
two paths and she
Yeah.
chose the one that she could bear, it was like, yeah, I guess it is that. I mean, the pain was that much that she's got to pick. Because in my brain, I'm like, girl, you're 17. I know it sucks. Like, don't get me wrong, but like, you can have another baby soon. But like, let's do some stuff in between. But it impacted her soul that much. She needed to go full, but she got that typewriter.
She has really good typing speed.
She's winning.
She got the typewriter.
Daddy's failing though by
but
dropping the bags off. That
How
was-
pathetic was that, right?
it was
With the
almost
typing thing? Oh,
Yeah,
no,
but
the way he just
dropped it off.
He
Dropped
Oh,
it
comes
off.
in,
And-
Mrs. Higgins says, "Okay, we're not open," and he just drops him off. and leaves.
Coward.
Yeah, exactly.
Such cowardice.
It's just as cowardly as lying. Pardon, cowardly
Exactly.
lying. So, but just as cowardly as that. And I was just going, what a schmuck. And it was great to have someone to really hate.
Yeah.
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 Right. And not even really considering her feelings and how devastated she was
Yeah.
But that's
from the
very-
first one.
Yeah, very consistent because they clearly
true.
didn't care last time. So
They
why would they
didn't
care this
care.
time?
Yeah.
So,
No offense, but kind of British.
yeah. Those are all those letters and emails that go to Tamara Berg.
From the standpoint of,
His duty,
stoic
stoic.
dads,
Oh, I see.
stiff upper lip, which is not just British, but it's sort of men of that time. Protect
Well,
your
no
baby
one
at
can say
all costs.
he didn't try.
Right.
Yes, we can.
Well, that's what he says. That's what he says. I
You
mean,
can, yeah, we can. I mean, it's fine. Like, I'm here for the whole, like, tough love. Okay, girl, you want to do this, you do this on your own. But come on. Like,
Yeah.
you're just going to drop her bag
exactly,
off. Like,
exactly.
At
I
least
was
go in
just-
there and say, you've chosen this life.
here you
I do
go.
not support this.
Yeah.
Here are your things you
but
got to figure out.
Tuck
what you're
tail
gonna
and
do.
run like a little
Yeah.
wuss.
Lee in the chat on YouTube
Yeah.
says Elaine's parents were not nice people at all.
No, they were not.
We agree with you, Lee.
They were hot garbage.
Thanks for the comment.
Yeah. They were trash. They were trash.
So between
Not even trash-esque. They were trash.
Mrs. Higgins and Lucille, they help her find housing,
Housing
and
assistance,
national
right.
assistance, and cautioning her it is not going to be easy. You can type, but this is going to be a hard road to hoe. And then set her up with her pram with a hook on it that can hold the typewriter. Yeah. And they bundle off down the street. With a little bit of hope.
Yeah.
Yep.
Little.
A little bit of hope and a whole lot of dreams.
Not a lot of hope. A little bit of
A
hope.
little bit of hope and a lot
But
of
it
dreams.
was a good storyline. I
Yeah.
enjoyed that.
I did appreciate that. And that was
Yeah.
a different woman's sort of mindset about why she wants a kid and wanting to keep her kid and figuring out for herself and feeling like that's even an option at this point.
Right.
in time
I
is
also thought it was
important.
just so interesting because so often, at least in the stories that we see in the U.S., when young girls want babies, they, sort of want a pet. You know, they don't realize the implications and how completely overwhelmed your life will be with that child, the life of that child, taking care of that child, and how you take second place. And so it was, I just felt like she really had more of an interesting and mature view. Yes, it was partly to deal with a loss, but we don't know her motivation when she had her first baby. It could have been accidental. It could have also been intentional.
Purposeful, because that one was loved, and she did say that one was planned.
Well,
Oh, she
not
did?
planned,
Oh, okay.
but they did love each other.
They did love each other.
He didn't want
and
anything to do
He
with it.
didn't, though.
But we don't know if it was planned.
But anyway, I just thought that was an interesting way to make the story go, that she, that she really planned to get pregnant and wanted the baby and wanted to try and get through life, however they were going to be doing it.
Good luck, girl.
Our secret agent's offended at my British comment.
As you should be.
You should be. That was
Right. You know who you sounded like? You sounded like Mildred.
Yeah.
I would apologize right now. I didn't mean to offend,
I
but you did.
apologize. The Brits are some of my most favorite people on earth, and that is the God's honest truth.
You guys are
And
great.
some of my most favorite places in the world
love
are
you
in your
guys.
nation. So
That is also true.
I was kidding.
All right. So we had, but speaking of apologies,
We're just
we
gonna
had
say
a
that's
big
a
one.
man thing. Sorry, go
Yeah,
on.
it is kind of a man
Just
thing.
like,
That's
So-
fine. It is.
trash.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Totally kidding.
So Lucille, we learn why that she thinks Cyril is not the man.
Sorry, I've never laughed so hard in a Call the Midwife episode. I don't think is when she said, and they were smoking marijuana.
People were smoking marijuana. The place was totally unsuitable. And another thing, he is not a pastor.
It's a trifecta. Oh, man.
It was so sweet.
And
she
even
is
talk about the
so sweet.
motorcycle.
Isn't
The way
she?
she delivers
Yes,
everything.
exactly.
Oh my
And to be
gosh.
so upset that they were smoking marijuana and he
Yeah.
wasn't a preacher was too. It was
Yeah.
just the cutest, funniest thing I'd
It
seen.
was. Yeah, she was incensed.
She was
though.
very incensed.
Exactly.
And the other two, Val and I think it was Val and
Val and
Trixie in
Trixie,
there.
yeah.
Yeah, they were just kind of like, oh, that's what it was. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That was
Little
just a great
side-eye
little
and-
moment.
Yeah,
It
that was
great.
like, yeah,
She is not a worldly girl, y'all. She is a.
No, she is not.
Somebody who she's traveled at least a little bit. Yeah, you would think. Anyway, yeah, she's yeah, it was funny.
She
enjoyed
sold out to the Lord, and that
Yeah.
is not the Lord was not dwelling in that West Indian club that night.
No.
At all.
So then they decide to talk to Sister Monica Joan
Yeah.
about the whole pastor thing. And Val saying, thank you to our secret agent for helping me out with this. Val asked if Monica Joan told a porky.
Yes.
Did you get that?
I did catch the word, and I was like, they call a lie a porky?
Okay, so what it is,
Like, what?
porky, like a pork pie, which is Cockney rhyming slang for a lie. There you go. I do not understand
Yeah.
Cockney rhyming slang, but I am
All right.
so appreciative when it gets translated for
Learn
me.
something new every day.
Yep.
Wow.
So yeah. So Sister Monica Joan says he's not necessarily a pastor in the literal sense. What I meant is that I had looked into his eyes and saw the soul of a pastor.
Who came up with this? Who wrote this? It was so great.
Yeah.
So we find out
She saw the soul of the Lord in his
yeah.
eyes.
that
Well, the windows.
Cyril himself did not lie.
No.
No, he did not.
It was honorable.
No pork pie there.
Good guy.
Yeah,
Good
and we
guy.
find out later when she apologizes that he doesn't really necessarily condone marijuana smoking as well.
Right. I'm the kind of man who doesn't approve either.
Yeah. That was a really precious moment as well.
On the dock.
When the
yeah,
dock and
yeah,
they're
that's
sitting on the
nice.
bench and
Yeah.
that whole monologue and him saying sometimes he just wants to be somewhere where he's not the only one.
Yes.
I know, brother, I know.
Yes.
That definitely struck a chord.
I don't want to be the only one in the room who looks like me.
Yeah.
It's rooted in reality.
Absolutely.
It's tough.
Yeah, and because he missed the music.
Yes.
Right.
Which the whole dancing thing, and they kind of touch
Yeah.
on that when they first met and everything like that. That was nice that they pulled that back in.
Yep.
And she understood. Of course, and then we do get to see them at the end.
Come
Would
to
you like to
church.
come to
honey.
church?
Look at he had a tie.
He
on,
brought a
look
tie,
at-
got a
he's-
suit on. He
That's
was
right.
ready. And he stood right next to her and started, oh, I remember these hymns. We gotta sing.
Yeah.
So there's a future for
we'll see
Lucy
there.
Yay. And let's
Roll.
just say that the speculation in the papers that I talked about that he might be abusive.
Yeah.
Man, were they
Yes.
wrong.
Yeah.
Thank goodness.
Yeah.
I was gonna be
Unless they're
sad.
right and we
Don't
find out
say
later.
that. No.
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 But I mean, and they did say it was they speculated, and I said
Yes.
it was speculation. But yeah, that was really off the mark.
They were.
Do you guys think
Well-
that there would be speculation around that if you were white? It feels
Sure,
like the
yeah,
kind of
but
thing.
here-
Yeah.
In
Yeah, we've
this,
seen all-
because of where this is,
Oh,
they
God, okay,
dealt with a
okay.
lot of
Good.
abuse.
Not a bad-
Tenement-esque.
Not a
But
bad question, though.
I am curious if they would go that route because he is black and the only black guy character. And I would, as a person of color, be like, why y'all had to do that with him? Like, we ain't got nobody else. So I would be bothered by that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I'd be interested to know if
Right.
they consider
Yeah,
that.
they definitely.
Because we've
a
seen a lot of abusers, exactly,
Yeah, so.
on the show. But that's a
sure.
good question, Jeff.
Yeah, way to go.
But it just made me curious. I don't watch the show, so I'm curious around, that stuff. So
yeah.
interesting.
You don't what?
Well, no, he's busy in the booth. We can't.
You know, he's a.
You know.
Exactly.
You are
I'm not
trying,
as-
You are trying to catch up, though, aren't you?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not as religious as you guys, but I do love the show. So,
I got my
yeah.
sister
Yeah.
hooked. She's almost to season
Is that
7
right?
in like a
Look
week and a
at
half.
that. Wow.
Nice.
She's been like, I'm watching it. Like every night after work, she's like, I'm on episode blah, blah, blah. You didn't tell me such a thing. I'm like, you're hooked. You're hooked.
Awesome. I love it when that happens.
Yep,
like how I
yep.
hooked you on Grand Hotel.
For
and ruined
sure.
your life for months.
And I did. Yeah. I was really hooked because I work from home, so I get to spend a lot of time watching TV. Anyway, that's another conversation.
Oh, we got to finish. We got to talk about Val and the
Oh,
grand.
Val.
That was nice, huh?
That was
See
really-
Val outside. Yeah. Oh my god! I just like the way
Except that
they
there were
brought it in.
boils involved.
Yeah,
that
that
was
part was
real-
horrible,
that
but
was
I like the way they
terrible.
brought it in. Like, oh, I haven't seen her in a couple of years.
Yeah.
Bring your medical bag, and it's like instantly.
Uh-oh,
it's
what's
like boom,
wrong?
boom, boom, and then we get to meet Gran. And I mean, did we meet her before?
I
when
feel
we-
like we must
did
have.
I think
at least
didn't
once.
she meet her at the bar? or
I
whatever that
felt like
she
it was
really
the bar, but I wasn't sure.
I'm not
couldn't
exactly sure
remember.
either. Yeah,
But-
but I'm sure hopefully our fans will help us out on that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was great to see, and I like the relationship, and you know
Ice
the teasing.
cream.
Yeah,
Oh,
come
be sure to
on.
get your ice cream money.
And taking 2 bob and no more.
Yes.
So.
And then the way she said, was talking about the ice cream sitting
Yeah.
at the table, I was like, wait, where's this going?
I
Is
know,
something
me too.
wrong? Like, is she starting to slip away
Same.
mentally?
Same.
Like,
Yeah.
what's going on? And then it just, the way she brought it back, obviously, and was fine. And then how they wrap it up with her going to pick her up to go out. And I was just like, our elders, you guys. And again, this is not about my life, but literally I live across the way from an elderly woman. She's about 80 years old, doesn't really have many people around. So she
Yeah.
like has attached herself to me. And I have
Our
to like
neighbors.
remind myself, like, don't be impatient. Like she just
Yeah.
wants somebody to chat with. And like, this is a moment you can take that time. And it's because they get forgotten. Even when they're your own family, they get forgotten.
We have sisters that live near us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean nuns.
Nun sisters. Yeah.
And they
We, it's her 99th birthday last week.
Wow.
It's a fancy event.
Yep. Yep.
So, and Grandma says, I ain't flashing my pins for no one.
Nobody. I like that.
Loved that.
The legs.
And then what she
that was my biggest laugh.
that was a great one. And then she, as
my
Val's
pins.
leaving, she says, "You did all right, girl."
Oh, that was
Yeah.
great. That was great. And she, you know, the way she said how smart she looks in the uniform.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I didn't have, I mean, I had grandparents, but I didn't know them. They had passed away before I could
Yeah.
get to
Yeah.
know them. So I don't know that relationship. So every time I see it, I go, God, I wish I missed that.
Yeah.
And I think it's great to see when it's on.
Yeah.
'Cause-
Wish
I never
mine were
get to-
around longer.
Yeah.
I need to talk fashion a little bit.
Okay.
So the dinner, Trixie's purple dress, that kind of jumper dress, purple and white dress, the houndstooth, the turquoise houndstooth on Valerie, and Valerie's coat as she was leaving Grandma's.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh my God, I want it.
I want it. And I will throw on top of that, even though this is not normally something I would like totally be about, but was it a pantsuit that Trixie had on when they were getting in the car at the end
Oh,
to go
the
see
print.
the print?
Yes.
And the hair, the blowout with the
Yes.
blue fonts. It
Yes,
was just
yes.
fantastic. Shout
Gorgeous.
out to the, what do you call it? Wardrobe
Costume,
department.
wardrobe.
Hair
Yeah.
and makeup
Oh,
as well,
fabulous.
yeah.
But that coat on Val and that
coat,
suit
yeah.
of Trixie's.
I like
totally.
Lucille's dress when they were talking at dinner about Cyril.
Oh, what
Oh.
was what?
She had,
Oh,
I don't
yeah,
remember,
yeah, yeah.
orange
It
and
was
yellow, and I don't know
It
what the
was.
heck
It was more subdued than the other two.
No, I
as,
thought that thing was just.
as Lucille would be. Yeah,
Right.
did you?
Yeah.
But not as. I just felt like it wasn't as bold.
I'm
yeah.
sure
It wasn't, yeah.
Yeah.
Lucille's supposed to be like
But
reserved.
yeah,
I'm
great.
I'm just amazed that I
Great.
But
fashion.
you
noticed
remembered
something.
it, so it was
yeah.
something.
But specifically because of you guys.
Thanks.
Because I mean, I should pay attention to some of this.
You
Yes.
gotta.
You got it.
All right, we only have a couple minutes, so
Yeah.
should we do just a quick recap
Yeah,
of
this is
notes?
our
and-
closer look here. So
Yeah. Okay. So, the BBC got in some trouble over the show from a week ago.
Right.
The BBC has said it will now give viewers information about abortion after it was criticized following the episode from called Midwife, where one of the patients died following an illegal backstreet abortion. Medical professionals claim that the BBC did not provide
any
any
information
information
on where to go
about
or-
care,
Yeah, care,
for
exactly.
abortions after.
And they frequently do provide information about
suicide, domestic
yeah.
abuse, things like that, and they didn't after this show. And they were saying that they did not do it because
This is the BBC saying
the
that?
BBC said it would not refer viewers to help without sending them to organizations. Sorry. The BBC said that it could not refer viewers to help without sending them to organizations that, quote, take a particular stance, end quote, on abortion, something it could not do given the contentious nature of the issue. They told the broadcast. So then 100 members of parliament wrote to the BBC Director General, Tony Hall, calling for a rethink on that stance. They said to the BBC, quote, abortion is not a contentious issue. It is a routine part of NHS-funded healthcare provided by doctors, nurses, and midwives every day in hospitals and clinics across the country.
What? Sorry, I just screamed in y'all's ears. Okay.
Exactly.
Yup.
That would not happen in America.
Yeah, I know.
No.
And that speaks to one of our listeners who wrote in talking about how it's
Last week about how abortion is not a political issue in the
and
UK.
Not as much, certainly not as much
And
as
it certainly
here.
is, and that's
they don't use it as a wedge issue like they do here.
When I read this, I went, well, it sounds like they're taking some cues from the U.S. and trying to create contention between people. So anyway, I thought that
Blew
was
you away, didn't it?
fascinating.
I'm blown
right?
away,
Yeah, exactly.
blown away. Because I can't even imagine someone criticizing a network for not providing information about abortion and care after or during an abortion in this country ever.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, I feel like they would figure out how to destroy that network and it would never exist ever again in life.
Thank you. The British Pregnancy Advisory Service previously said that by treating abortion as a political rather than a medical issue, the BBC had already become partisan. Ooh. And Diana Johnson, a Labour MP, organized the letter signed by nearly 100 MPs to be sent to Lord Hall, criticizing the decision to withhold information about abortion despite it being offered legally for more than 50 years.
There you go.
Fascinating.
Obviously,
really,
you guys are way more evolved than we are here.
God bless the British
Goodness
people.
gracious. Wow.
And Parliament. Okay, and then I just want to do a quick couple of shout outs from iTunes.
Cool.
Comments that we've gotten from people. Jill17 said, just catching up on seasons of Call a Midwife, and I'm so appreciative, sorry you guys, I haven't been drinking, of the high quality
That's why you're
commentary. That's why I'm fumbling. I'm so appreciative of the high quality commentary you give along with your genuine emotional reactions. You guys rock. Thank you. Great show. Call the Midwife fan says, love the Call the Midwife, and it's nice to see they love the show too. That means us. And Annie Sign says, one of the best podcasts for a TV series. It's nice that they come prepared and provide some great commentary about the episodes each week. It's clear that they are fans of the show. So thank you for those
We
comments,
appreciate
you
you.
guys. We really appreciate you.
Keep them coming.
And we currently have 4.5 stars on iTunes.
Get us to 5, guys. Get us to 5.
This is a telethon.
Get us to 5.
Not really.
Yeah. Yeah.
So anyway, that's what I've got for comments and news.
Beautiful.
All right, thank you. Well, we got to get out of here. So we got any final thoughts? Anything you want to add? I know that we do.
Sheila's scrapbooking at the
Oh,
end. The
right.
photo of the
I'm so
kids.
glad you brought that up.
Angela picking her nose. Love that. That was hilarious.
Oh, these cold-blooded social workers.
Yeah.
I'm not here for you at all.
Right?
Yes, that kid will remember at 4 years old.
Yes.
How dare she say
They're
such
resilient,
things?
though. They're resilient.
But I love that the doctor was like, I fell out the bed at 2, and I remember that.
Yes. I loved that scene.
I have to say, I don't remember anything before 6. So I really.
I do.
Okay, so-
I remember
do.
4 for
You do?
sure. I
Wow.
definitely remember. Like, it's spotty, but I definitely remember 4.
I remember 3 and 4. Yeah. I think my early one is 3.
Women are more evolved, John.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course. Yeah.
I don't remember anything before like
That's
13.
true.
So.
Thank you.
That's good.
Right. I remember putting my grandma's pantyhose on when I was 4. She had
That I
knee
remember.
highs, and she
That I
made me
remember.
like put them over her like foot because she had a cane and she couldn't lean over, and we used to hate that. But it was funny. But yeah, I was like, we used to put grandma's like knee high pantyhose on.
That's pretty cute.
What's gonna happen with her then?
we
Let me
only
see.
have 2 more
Where are they
episodes,
going with
right?
that?
I don't
Yeah.
know because she got a letter in
Yeah.
the coming up sneak peek or whatever from the Hong Kong
adoption.
authority.
Come on, they're killing me with this because
They
don't
have
you
to let her
want
keep
May to
her.
stay?
Yes.
Because May and Angela, forget it.
She has to stay.
Yeah.
She
Something's
has
gotta
to figure out a way.
She has
right?
to, but they're going to make us cry on the
And
way.
a pony is not going to change her life the way that Angela and the family with Sheila is.
Hello.
Nobody cares about the
Yeah.
pony.
We got to go.
All right,
we
we
got to
gotta
go.
Okay, we gotta get at it. All right, so tell them where they can find you.
I'm everywhere on social media universe at Stewart Starlet.
I am at Tamara Berg on Twitter. Oh yeah, we're going for the wide.
Yeah.
Thanks. And tamaracentral.com is my website, you guys.
And you can only find me here next week when we come to you again and talk Call the Midwife. Thanks for tuning in.
Bye, everybody.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.